Hi everyone, it's Sarah here, painter creator. So on part 2, I had to go and have a sleep, I'm afraid, and a rest. So we're back together. It's totally dry. You can quite often tell it's not the best quality paper, but it's not bad. It's this Creative Peak. It's not buckled that much. Love some of this texture, really love that. So I've got some clean water. I'm just picking up my small squirrel mop brush for the next bit. So I've got something here that I want to put some rocks or something under the surface there. So I need some darks on there. Under this wave and this wave, I just want to darken it because as the wave goes over, you've got a dark there and then it gets a bit lighter and then dark and a bit lighter. We've got a nice base colour there, but I want to darken that, and I just want to put a little bit more blue into the mix. So I'm just mixing up some phthalo blue and a little bit of cadmium red light, which just dulls off, and it's got quite a bit of water in. And I'm going to soften this away with some clean water in a minute, but I'm just darkening under that wave. Might even go a bit darker yet. So wash my brush, take the excess water off and just soften it into that bottom wash. I might just go a little bit darker. So phthalo blue straight off the palette, hint of cadmium red light. Tiny bit more. If you haven't got cadmium red light, you can use burnt sienna. Whilst it's there, I'm just going to do the same here. Make that a bit darker. So I want it to stand out. I might make that into a wave actually. So wash my brush. Plenty of water on my brush. I'm just going to soften it in to the wash. Soften it into the wash. Plenty of water. And just soften it into the wash. I'm going to go over that because it's got a run back. Just blend it in. So a little bit of dark under here. Probably can go a little bit darker still with some bits. I'm just going to run a little bit of dark through here, just blending those colours. Lift off So we're now working on a soft wash. So we've got damp paper. So I've darkened this one because I want that contrast of the light against the dark. Oops, daisy, that went a bit much, but that's fine. Just dropping in some really dark darks around. So it's just building that little bit of depth in the painting. Just going to put a little wash of this colour over here as well. It'll dry lighter. So you've got that sense now of that rolling hill, rolling wave, because it's got that depth with it. Just lifting some bits away. So that's just a damp brush and near enough all the paint's taken out of it, and it just lifts the shape of the wave. Drop a bit more dark into there. This bit, let's put some clean water on and give it a wash away. So, quite like that. I'm going to leave that to dry, and then we can maybe drop in while it's still wet. I'm just going to drop in a dark rock around here, as if it's just breaking on the surface. So again, I'm trying to frame that white that we've got there. Pushing the brush in. Do the same under here. Just darken that a little bit so that white contrast stands out. And let's just darken this foreground one as well, particularly around the base. Sometimes you just have to step back and then look at what it is that you want to darken. Does it need doing? could lift that again with your card if you want. I'm happy with that. It looks like those belong in the sea. So, time to just let that dry. Okay, so it's dry now. All you need to do is give the masking fluid a bit of a rub. You can use one of these, which is a masking fluid pickup if you don't like the bit, but just be gentle and take your time. You have to take the little bits off this one. So I will do that and then I will be back to you. Okay, so we've got everything off. Now, obviously, I don't want this white of the foam that's over the top of the water that's coming forward to distract from the white of the waves. As I don't want these waves to feel as white as these waves do coming in. So I've just mixed together a really watery grey. So 3 primary colours. So today I've used cerulean blue, a little bit of green and a little bit of cadmium red light. And I'm just going to paint over some of these distant waves just to knock the brightness of the white back a little bit, and the same here. I'm just going to paint all over because I just want the brightness of that white to go back, but where the wax is will still resist, so that's really lovely. So I'll get a mixture of this colour and it just knocks back the brightness and draws this brightness even further forward. It's just a little wash across, putting a little depth of colour across. It doesn't have to be on all of it. It just makes it feel a little bit more in control. Now, I might just put a little bit into there as well, and a little bit into the base of there, and maybe a little bit under some of these waves, just to add a little bit of shape. So now is where you get hold of either your Dr. Martens or I might do a little bit over here as well, or some white gouache, because you'll need that to just help with your waves. I'm going to use some white gouache today. A roundy one. I quite like the gouache when I'm doing waves because it's quite sticky, so I've got a damp brush and I'm just enhancing some of that white. Straight from the tube, just dip your brush in and go. Where it's damp, it will soften like normal watercolour onto damp paper. I'm just trying to sort of take the harshness of that line off. You can splatter. A dry brush just gives a little bit of texture. You can give it a spritz, you can do whatever you want. It just gives a little bit of difference for the whites of the page. You just work at it. I like using my squirrel mop brush because the softness just helps when you're particularly creating wave shapes. And then if you want it just to soften a little bit, just give it a little spritz, and that will soften on the paper. More detail the further forward you come, brighter whites, the further forward you come. Link the wave in. Just work the shape. Keep it alive. You see there that the little spritzer bottle's just done its thing. Soften that back in a little bit. just play. And the gouache is just sticky. It's nice. It's good at getting texture on, especially when you just use it straight from the tube. Just don't like that, that's better. Okay, less is more as always, so I'm going to try and not overwork it. Run a little bit of gouache foam across here. I think I'm going to call it a day. Quite like it. I might just give this one little spritz or two and see how it goes. Let it dry naturally. I think it's got quite a nice movement in it. I like the darks that we've managed to keep under there. It could go this dark under there. You could push it a bit more before you put that final bit of gouache on, just to get the contrast, but I do like it. It's got a sense of movement, and that's what I was after today. So I hope you've enjoyed that one. Please like, subscribe, comment, all the rest of it. Share it with your friends. I do try and put at least one a week up. Sometimes you might get two if you're lucky. Have a lovely day, folks.